Ladies and gents, welcome back. We've heard about the Dutch farmers, their protests, and their struggle against the government imposing bankrupting restrictions on nitrogen fertilizer in the agricultural industry in the Netherlands. Now, a more cynical person would say, well, maybe this is the purpose. Well, have a look here. Pave Paradise and put up a parking lot. Here it is. The plan for the Dutch farmers' land. Still think it's about the environment? Still think it's about nitrogen? Well, let me introduce to you the plan for Tristate City. This is a giant city, urban structure that they would like to build over, well, the entire Netherlands. And branching into Belgium and into Germany here. We have this giant city being planned. If you can't see right above me, just a size comparison, this is the Greater London area, one of the largest cities in the world, will be dwarfed by this giant megalocalypse, however you want to call that. It sounds like an apocalypse to most people. Now, would that make a lot of sense? Hey, let's build the most grandiose city the world's ever seen right on top of the most fertile land. Well, that just seems to be how city planners do things. If you know anything about where the major cities are, they're just generally on the most fertile lands that get settled first and then built out. But these are city planners that are pushing for this. Now, this is where I first heard about this. This is on Jordan Peterson's podcast where he interviewed Michael Yon, and this is what he had to say.
This is clearly about control. Also, there's something that you never hear in any press that I've heard in the United States is the Tristate City. Tristate City is this smart city that they're proposing to build between the Tri-States or Belgium, Netherlands, and Germany. So this mega city, basically, that would take up all this farmland in that area and which would bring huge amounts of more people into this area, right? So the Tri-State City is something you don't hear much about, but that's another part of this plan. There was a fire about...
So he brought that up twice in the interview. They didn't really elaborate much. So I looked into it and I wanted to see what the deal was. Now, farmers are protesting because these are the fertile lands that are going to be covered over by a metropolitan dream, a wet dream for the types, the likes of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, where they want to eliminate this and they would like to bring about their giant city, Tri-State City, right over top of the entire nation. And yes, the farmers are protesting this. They're getting out there. They're savvy to this. This is the thing. A lot of people in Western media don't know much about what's going on. And even here in North America, a lot of people protesting the government, but not seeing what the real plan is. It seems like a lot of the Dutch farmers are quite savvy to what's happening here. Here's tristatecity.nl. Tri-State City Network, 45 million people planned to be living in this apparently so-called, I love throwing out the word so-called because that gets thrown out for people who protest freedom. So-called sustainable network model for 100 small and medium-sized city in the Low Countries. An organic growth green network metro pool where urban and rural space are and remain in balance. In balance with what? Not with farmland. That's definitely not the case. Now, I can't scroll any further to show you what's at the bottom, but I took a snapshot to show you this at the bottom of the website. Tri-State City Network, 45 million people. P.S. This model has no relationship whatsoever with the nitrogen policy of the Dutch government. Saying the quiet part out loud, obviously. Now, this is the type of plan that people who spend all of their time playing sim games might come up with. Hey, let's make these giant megacities. It would be much more efficient for these little plebs in these little NPCs in this game to be living in, and that's the likes of the people who plan these things, but they don't have all the foresight to see what all will happen. Now let's hear from one of these individuals.
The smart city is usually a combination of the different urban systems that we have. For the most part, that means mobility systems, housing systems, administrative systems, energy systems, education systems, and so on. Anything affecting citizens in their everyday lives can be assigned a digital shadow.
Wow, a digital shadow. Now, all these plans, they come out and they look so beautiful. They look so pristine, clean, efficient. Everybody's doing exactly what they're told in these models. But this is the idea of the utopian. This has always been the idea of the utopian, that everything will work out and everybody will behave and do exactly what you want. Now, the thing is, the realism of this is when you put these things into practice, they're dirty. They're not clean. They're dirty. People are messy. People don't want to always do what you want. There are things like crime. There are people who just have predispositions to want to do things that are different than what you actually want. And you're going to run into conflict. This is a scene from Judge Dredd 2012, the megacity one. And this is a better depiction of what happens when you bring all the people together and put them into a giant megacity and put them into these close proximities with each other. Conflict occurs, and then giant separations between the individuals who are the haves and the have-nots, try to separate themselves as much as possible, even in tight quarters. Now we have here another image of the dystopian future that it's more likely probably going to look like. And this actually was modeled roughly off of Hong Kong and the imagery there. But this is from Blade Runner, and this is city ambiance. This is just the way the city was portrayed in the Blade Runner series. And it seems a little bit more to the tune of what would actually take place if these people were put together. And these stories are definitely dystopian. They're not the utopias that are brought about from these World Economic Forum types. Now, there's another city in the works. This one in the Middle East. You know about eating the bugs. Now, let me introduce you to your pod. And this is the other tri-state city, but this is going to be called The Line, and this one is to take place in the Middle East.
Housed within an elegant mirror glass facade.
Let's get back to the beginning here.
For too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature.
And we've got all the answers
now,
for you.
A revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The Line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier,
9 million people in 34 square kilometers.
more sustainable quality of life. The Line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions. Residents have access to all their daily needs within 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And the Line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end-to-end in 20 minutes with no need for cars, resulting in 0 carbon emissions.
Oh boy.
By leveraging AI technology, services are autonomous, saving you time and effort. Designed by world-leading architects, the Line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long.
So again, this is one of those things where they're relying entirely on technology, and that technology is going to save us from the woes of the plight of life. Just the idea that there is not abundance. We live in a situation where there's scarcity, and I'm sorry, but AI is not going to remove scarcity. What are all these people going to do? This is all office workers, I'm guessing. There's no talk about where we're going to get food, or where are the mechanics going to live? Where are the servants going to live? Oh, but the servants are going to be AI. This is again another utopia that I don't believe is going to exist. And they always forget about the incentive model. If everyone gets the same thing, what's the incentive to do any better than anyone else? That's the fall, the plight, and the problem with the commons, right? So just nobody wants to contribute when everyone gets the same.
And housed within an elegant mirror glass facade. Intelligent solutions create efficiency and year-round temperate microclimate with natural ventilation. Energy and water supplies are 100% renewable.
By decree.
The line is designed as a series of unique communities, offering a wealth of amenities, providing equitable views and immediate access to the surrounding nature.
Unreal.
With 40% of the world accessible within 6 hours, at the heart of the globe's key trade routes, a place for commerce and communities to thrive like nothing on Earth seen before. The Line, the city that delivers new wonders for the world.
So where will you draw the line, folks? This is where it really comes down to. Now, this is going to be one of those megacities that will be under Sharia law, I believe, because that's a part of the world that it's in. Now, they're saying that there's going to be no impact on anything or anyone. Now, there happens to be that there are people that live where the line is, and this is from a video by Engadget. I'll leave a link in the description down below. You can watch the full thing. But he describes where they're building it, and are there people there?
For one, the so-called virgin land that the government is building Neom on is, unsurprisingly, not all that virgin. It is the ancestral and current home of many people, including members of the Hawatat tribe who are being forced from their homes for what many see as a vanity project that won't amount to much in reality. Those who have dared to speak out against the government's plans or refuse to give up their homes have been harassed and abducted by Saudi security forces, arrested, or in some cases killed. For example, Abdul Rahim al-Hawati, a prominent Hawatat activist, was killed by police in April of 2020 after posting videos on social media trying to raise awareness of the forced displacement.
Wow, that just sounds very in tune to how they put these things about. So this is the story of the megacities that we are all going to live in. So we've been introduced to the bugs. Now let me introduce you to your pod. This is where they want you to live. And this is the future we're looking at. Honestly, is this something that you want? If you don't want this, maybe let some of the people that you know around you become aware of this, and so we can avoid this future for ourselves in the future. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below what you think about this whole city idea. Mega cities for everybody. No more farmland. Let's move into the future. Or shall we just go back to living life normally? A lot of people want to go back to normal, the old normal, not the new normal. Anyway, we'll see you guys tonight having a live stream again. This is a Friday night live stream. Tune in at 6:30 Pacific time. We'll see you then, and keep on trucking.